G'day folks, and welcome back to the channel for part number 3 of my piercing Blademaster playthrough with Stabatha. So last episode we finished up Act 1, and actually just give me a sec. Okay, as I was saying, we finished up Act 1 and killed the Warden, and then we did a little bit of crafting. So let me just talk to Harmond here. It was gruesome and bloody, and thanks for the bits. Alright, so yes, we finished up Act 1, and did a little bit of crafting. So what you're looking for in the crafting is you want either 1 or 2 scaled hides, chest or legs. The second one, if you don't have above about 40-50% piercing, you want a second silk swatch on your legs instead. You want an anti-venom salve on your belt, and again, if you don't have something like 40%, then maybe try and get another one on your helmet. We want vicious spikes on both of our weapons, and ideally we want corpse dust on both rings. Now, if you don't have a second corpse dust, same as I don't have one, then a polished emerald will kind of do. And then we want ward stones on our amulet and our medal. I also crafted equilibrium. You can skip this one and then use the bone talisman from early in Act 2 if you wish. I prefer this, but it is up to you. Okay. Last thing to do before we jump into Act 2 is Warchief's Glory here was a nice drop that I got, and this has got Pierce Resistance, which is really nice for the beginning of Act 2. It's got some Bleed Resist, which I don't care. The physical damage doesn't apply to us because we are doing no physical damage, so it's that 12% increase on 0 is still 0, if my maths is mathsing. And we get 30 points between physique and cunning. So I'm going to swap that over. We get minor gains. It's actually not huge. Probably the biggest gain is going to be the extra armor and the pierce resist, honestly. So pretty happy with that, and kind of wish I had another little bit of XP to wear this. One thing to check whenever I'm looking for gear upgrades is I just mouse over the armor thing here. I look at that middle column, and if I've got a whole bunch of armor ratings around like 900, and then all of a sudden my feet are at 200, then I know I need to upgrade my feet. In this case, my chest is not the highest number, so I'm looking at that. Obviously, I have the Fortified Doublé, which is probably the wrong pronunciation, but I don't care, it's fun. So I have that waiting in the wings, and we are pretty much good to go at this point. So let me just vendor all this fancy new loot that I picked up from Balros and Hagra while I was out playing with them. I'm going to bank all of this because habits are hard to kick when you're playing hardcore. And yes, let's get into Act 2. This could be a problem. I think I already repaired the bridge, but I only have 3 scraps, so if I didn't, I can probably afford to buy the scrap now. Let's see if I did repair the bridge. I know I said I was going to at the end of the previous episode, and survey says yes I did. Okay, so I didn't need that scrap. That's fine. Alright, aggressive shield. You know what? That can stay on the ground. And actually, we don't really need bits anymore, and I'm never going to wear another magic item. So we can just turn those off. I don't need to see them. Okay, there's the guns and crossbows and such. This is what you want the piercing resistance for. There's other things as well, like the undead archers, especially, is it Deadbolt or Deathbolt? There's some really scary archers later on in Act 2. So we definitely want the piercing resist for that. We don't need to talk to him. For some reason it wouldn't let me Shadow Strike around. Do remember to grab his stuff as well. Because you can get some nice stuff out of that chest. Okay, that little walkway is blocked, so I've got to go around. However, I wanted to go this way anyway, because Mr. Skinner here is about to burn the building down with his family in it. You can let him do it, and you'll end up with the torch as a weapon, or you can tell him no and send them all back to Devil's Crossing, in which case you'll get a pretty good ring that you're going to replace fairly soon. So this kind of doesn't matter. To save his family, put your mouse at the bottom of the top option and just click a whole bunch, and they'll go back to town. Alright, so we follow the trail, and this is something to mention as well. If you're ever not sure where to go in this game, at least for the base game, if you just find a trail and head north, you're pretty much going in the right direction most of the time. Alright, Earthen Shamblers here. Need to die immediately. If you're not in melee range with them, they will throw rocks at you, and those rocks hit like trains. So either be in melee range of them and prioritize killing them, or prepare to be using a lot of health potions, or just dead. Could be dead as well. Alright, level 19. We can get some new stuff. Still not going to take Soldier. I'll probably leave this till 35, 40-ish, something like that. I do want more points in Shadow Dance. I do want more points in Night's Chill. I want more points in Lethal Assault, which I think I'm going to max out here. Maybe the next 2 levels in Dual Blades. That flat piercing damage, I think, is basically carrying this build. I did go back and look at the previous run-throughs episodes where I was constantly complaining, this build has no damage, it's bad, play cold, cold at least has damage. This is what I didn't have. I did check, and this was at 1 out of 16 the whole time. So I think that was like 17 piercing damage instead of 234 and soon to be like 300 and something. So it's definitely that. If you're playing piercing, you need dual blades, which honestly I should have known, but I definitely didn't. Okay, I do want the extra armor. I know I'm only a level away, and this is going to be a trip back to town, but yeah, I definitely want the armor. Right, give me my add-on back. Let's go ahead and chuck you on there. Let's go ahead and get rid of the emerald, because I just noticed I picked up another corpse dust. Alright, we've cracked 2,000 hit points. You'll love to see it. More importantly, you'll love to not be dead. We are also going to be phasing out the regen. Now, I know I've got 340 regen. If I'd kept the regen belt, this would probably be over 400 a second now, which means 5 seconds from dead to full. We are going to be phasing that out, so I'll probably be reclaiming the lizard. Maybe not exactly right now, but I will be reclaiming that soonish because I want more piercing damage, because dead things, well, they struggle to kill you unless they leave goop on the ground. We are in here for that devotion shrine. There is also potentially an exalted stash or one-shot stash in here that I could be getting as well. I generally skip it, honestly. Most of the blue items you're going to get are not worth using because there are so many different builds available, so many different items available. The chances of you getting an item that's actually good for the build you're playing is somewhat low. Okay, these are actually pretty good. The Elemental and Frostburn will be good because we do a decent amount of cold damage at the moment. Spirit's good, offensive ability is great, Chaos Res kind of irrelevant at this point, but it'll be useful later. And Insight will help with the energy. I think, however, we're going to leave it. We won't take that. We do, however, now get the lifesteal on the Fox. And now I can take this point back, and we'll start probably on the Harpy next. I wish I could stop hitting that instead of M. M for map right next to that one. Okay, I'm not going to do the rest of this. We're just going to continue on. We have a date with Isaiah Redden and his friend here, Drew Larkin, who we're pretty much just going to leave on the side of the road to die. Which, if you know what's going on here, you know why. Also, there's some loot just off the map here. So if you come around this way, you've got a dead body in a chest. So 2 incantations items. Nope, don't need them. But hey, more bits, right? So if we come up here, there's probably a couple of bandits, question mark? Nope, they're not home today. That's right, we're here for Isaiah Redden anyway. And you do want to be very, very careful with this guy. This guy is your best friend in normal. So make sure you take the top option, tell him to make it quick, tell him you're sorry, and then let him go. So if you're reading all the text and such, you might be tempted to fight him because of what the other guy said. You really want to take Isaiah Redden's side. The ability to just buy resistance potions instead of having to find the blueprint then get all of the ingredients, and then go and craft them. You really want those potions. And the only thing you miss out on is, admittedly, a good ring. And it has pretty good chaos resistance, but we won't need that for a while. There are other options for fixing your chaos resistance. And resistance potions are just really, really good. Okay, I'm only over here for the crystals. Although, I mean, they are made out of XP. And they do keep crawling out of the ground. That's fine. Alright, already got the rift, so I probably should have rifted back here, but oh well. Here is our first rovers camp, and we've got some quests to pick up here. So Bernard's going to want us to go and deal with bandits. Old mate wants us to find their elder. Now, I'm not going to take the bone talisman. I probably should, because I am going to start having energy issues at some point. I'm not sure exactly when, but you can see my energy is getting a little bit low. It's probably going to end up being the first kind of decently chunky hero that I run into. Because I'll burn my energy, I'll use an energy potion to get it back, and then that's it. I burn that and it's gone. So the first decently chunky hero is probably going to be when I run out of energy. Alright, definitely want to be hitting all of these little wasp nests here. We need royal jelly. You need 3 of them. If you don't get 3 in this cave, it's fairly common that you won't. But we will be going into the wasp hive anyway, and the queen drops, I think, she drops, what, between 1 and 3 every time you kill her. So you'll have a couple. Not the end of the world if you just skip that quest as well. You get some regen potions, which we're not going to care about for a huge amount longer, because we are not really a regen build, although you could focus on it. Okay, so Nicholas Balthazar here is the first guy who I'm kind of expecting that I'm going to run out of energy on. Let's kill his friends off first, I guess. They would have died eventually from all the spinny blades. Alright, energy regen is actually not horrible, which is nice. It is going down, but it's not horrible. And I should be using Shadow Strike more often for damage, and there goes my energy. It's alright, I've still got an energy potion. And he's dead. Okay. Marauder's ammo belt, if you're playing a pistol build, great. Let's have a look at the stats on it. Probably not going to use it anyway. Bleed res, that's a lot of offensive ability, but other than that, no. Murderer's breastplate is actually pretty good. Okay, can I use this? Yes, I can. Do I want to use this? Yes, armor upgrade, acid, yeah, you know what? We're putting that on. So 3 more levels in dual blades, plus 3 to shadow strike. That's more single target damage, and more fizz res, more flat damage. All good stuff. All right. If I can get another one of those, what level is that actually? 19. If I can get a higher level version of that, and it's not, you know, level 30 required or something. I think the resists on this are really good though. I might even just keep this though. That's plus 6. It's basically 2 free levels in a jacket. So maybe I will keep those. I think I clicked on the wrong one there. I did not. All right, awesome. So yeah, we need 3 jellies, royal jellies. I've got 2 now, I think. You do sometimes get 3 in a run through this cave, but it's fairly common to come out of here with 0 or 1. Definitely something you can do. Okay, there's my 3rd one. And I definitely am using way too much energy on Shadow Strike now. The extra skill points, not great. I've got plus 9. Am I getting some from the weapons as well? Yep. Okay, well, it is what it is. Okay, I do need to watch out for gloves. I might even need to put some more points in spirit here. That's alright. We'll be okay. We went into this cave to get the royal jelly and also the dynamite. Got the dynamite now, so I can go and blow up the door. I think we'll go get the elder first, though. This totem here, this spirit totem, has killed me. just a regular old boring spirit totem. Has actually killed, I think, 2 or 3 of my characters, actually, because of what can come out of it. So let's go click on it. Actually, we'll do it on the way back, because we have to go and talk to Elder What's-His-Face. Okay. And then we have to go and kill this guy. I just wanted to basically make sure, one, I don't have huge amounts of enemies in the area when I'm trying to do a totem. And 2, there's a good chance that some of those enemies would have been the priests. Which means... Yeah, see, there's another one. Which means I would get a hero down to almost dead, and then the priest would heal him to full, and that's bad times. Okay. There is a very good chance that I just run away from this. It will depend who comes out of it. So, let's see how we go. Necrolash needs to die immediately. He's going to put Aether on the ground, and there it is. So we kill him, we run away. This is actually the guy who has killed me from this totem, was Necrolash. Because if he lives long enough, he'll put 1 Aether Circle on the ground. Then when you kill him, he drops another one. And that combined with, I think it was the Warlocks, has actually killed me before. Okay, Guardsman's Spaulders are pretty good shoulders. Will cost me some resistances, but I think I'm okay with that. Grab the blueprints. Let's eat those immediately so we don't get another one of those. Stormcallers is useless. Night Hunter's Chest Guard. +2 to Night's Chill is pretty good. But no. Badge of Tenacity. Chance when hit requires shield, so no. Massacre is two-handed, so no. Guardsman's Spaulders, though. The 2-set bonus here is useless to us. Physical damage, we pretty much do none of that. We literally do none of that, so the 2-set bonus is useless. The proc on these shoulders requires a shield, so the only thing that is good about these shoulders is the armor, so I'm not going to use them, actually. And I am tempted to use the... Actually, you know what? I'm not just tempted, I am going to use the Fortified Doublé. Because as much as I love the extra skill levels, I don't love my energy bar being destroyed every time I use Shadow Strike. So we're just going to pump the brakes a little bit on that. And the rest of this can kind of stay. Grab the loot, I guess. Clerics of Scorching. Nice armor on that. Bad resistances. Damage to undead is nice considering where we're heading into. No, I think I want the avoidance. Speaking of avoidance, 10%. It's really tempting. I probably need to get extra dual blade stuff here. But I really do like Shadow Dance. I want more points in Shadow Dance for sure.
That skill's not ready.
Alright, so Dynamite here. Let's blow that up, and then let's rift back. I do want the extra bag space, and there is a merchant down here, so I'm going to empty the bags that I have already. So I destroyed the barricade. Thank you very much. There's my extra inventory bag. We got some iron. We got some reputation. Good stuff. Merchant, buy my stuff. Yeah, you can have all of this stuff. If you're playing along on hardcore and you think you might want to keep some of these blues, feel free to chuck them in the shared stash. But, you know, low-level blues can often be a trap, so keep that in mind as well. All right, let's take cunning up to 5-ish. Okay, I found the Elder. Now, at this point, if you say, yeah, actually, here's your talisman, then he takes your talisman and you get nothing. You do get some reputation, and I think some bits and XP, obviously. But if you say, no, I did not find a talisman, i.e. you lie to him, actually, let's just show it. Why not? I don't usually take this, but here's the Bone Talisman. This is what you get if you lie to them. So this is the only free relic in the game, except for this same quest on Elite and Ultimate. And it gives you a talisman that gives you 5% to all stats, and a button that you can put on your hotbar here, which gives you a bunch of extra damage. 100% to all damage is not double damage, it is plus 100%. So for us we have 334% pierce. If I push the button, we now have 434%. So it's about 20% damage increase. But the reason most of the time that I use the mana infusion is the energy regen and the increased energy regen. So that's what it is. You can get one of these, like I mentioned, on each of the 3 difficulties. And it's pretty good. For a free relic, it's definitely worth what it costs you. I generally don't use it except on casters who have energy issues, but it can be good. I like the stun proc on Serenity combined with the elemental resistance and move speed on them. It's pretty good. Okay, so we're coming up on the hive. You can see the hive there in the top left of the map. Wasp nest entrance. Okay, this could be very dangerous. I think I managed to avoid having them throw rocks at me, which is good. Those big stone golems are extremely dangerous. I mentioned earlier that they throw rocks at you and they really hurt. I'm not kidding when I say they really, really hurt. 2 or 3 of those hit you and you'll go full health to dead. Okay, wasp nest. Only go into here if you need the jelly. If you don't need the jelly, don't bother. But there is more of these little waspy things that I'm trying to find on the walls and having trouble locating them. I know they're in here. There we go. Wasp nest. So you can get royal jellies out of these. But the main thing we're here for is actually the queen, who was guaranteed, I believe, to drop jellies. So if we just kind of go around here, let's grab all of these. It's fairly common to see heroes in this section as well. I now despise with the beasts, so Kubacabra is on his way. He's hiding behind the trees. Yeah, it is fairly common to find at least, maybe 1 or 2 heroes in this section. But like I mentioned, we are actually here for the Queen, Rona Prax, the Grand Queen. If you've played the Sentinel that I have a playthrough on the channel for, then you know all about Rona Prax. Probably killed it more times than you would care to admit. You definitely want to stay in melee range if you're fighting Rona Prax, because otherwise she will spit acid at you, and it's a kind of a shotgun attack, so if it all hits you, it's really going to hurt. Alright, max out dual blades. We're almost at 400 flat piercing damage. We have 100% increased piercing damage, and we have 10% physical resistance. Really, really good, and like I said, I'm pretty sure that is the reason why I had such a hard time last time I played this character, is because I didn't put points into that. So definitely want to be putting points into it. Health is getting kind of close to that magical sort of 100 per level. So I do want to keep an eye on that. I'm getting some health from my gear, so depending on what gear swaps I end up doing, I may end up having less life than I need. Once we start putting points into Soldier, though, hit point issues will very quickly disappear. Alright, let's head up the road here. We've got a devotion shrine on the screen there. I do need to go back to town and take my devotion point out of whatever the crossroads I have is. Frozen Heart, you should have a few of these from killing the Slith in Act 1. Let's have a look at this. Mystic of Vicious Barbs, less armor, +2 Ring of Steel, some health. That's not bad, actually. I'm not going to wear it, but it's not bad. We could get +4 to Ring of Steel with these 2 items. I think the game's trying to tell me something. I think I'm probably not going to wear them, though. Keep an eye on the amulets. So Stonefaced of the Aether is useless for us. I think that's probably fine. Just keep on keeping on. Use the current gear I've got. And I definitely am enjoying this a lot more than the last time I played it, so that's good. Alright, these guys I'm going to leave alone. You can go down there and either pay them to go away or kill them. I find it's easiest to just ignore them, and you can come back after you beat Cronley, and they will just say, "Hey, great job beating Cronley. Here's a whole bunch of free stuff," and you don't have to jump through any hoops for it then. Okay, vendor all this. Maybe don't vendor those, though. Ronaprax's Amulet has +1 to... Where is it? It doesn't. Okay, it's the other Bee Queen that has the +1 to Inquisitor. I am misremembering. This guy here, if you're playing a Savagery build, this is the most important kill in... probably in the game, because old mate here, Golgoth the Rampaging, has your weapon. You can see he's about to hit me with it. I am going to start evading the big attacks, so that one. The one where he kind of winds up and swings it overhead, that's the one you want to dodge. Should be next. Yep, dodge that one. I say dodge. I mean, when they're this predictable, it's not really dodging, it's just kind of timing. Okay, Superior of Alacrity. This is amazing. If I was playing a Savagery Shaman, I would be very happy right now. Unfortunately for me, I'm not. So there is that. Alright, do I get the Royal Jelly quest? I think I'm going to be a little short. Yeah, I'll have to do one more quest to them. For them, rather. Alright, I'm going to get some extra XP here, and I want to take some points out of the crossroads and such. Okay, I will get right on that for you, mate. I've just got to talk to a man about a ring. Here he is. Okay, so here's my ring, Skinner Family Seal. Flat physical damage, that 2 to 3 will be converted to piercing. That 18% physical damage is useless, but 130 odd health, piercing, and elemental resistance on a ring. Very, very nice. So, which one's Veloth's? There we go, that one can go. I am going to put you on there, I think. Yeah, we've got some better hit points now. Okay, Sardina. I mentioned we were going to take these out. I didn't mention that I was going to do it right now, but I've decided we're doing it now. Alright, so there are a couple things I want to get underway. First thing I want to get is, normally I take the Tortoise on pretty much all of my builds. I'm looking over at my devotion plan on my other part of my screen, and I don't see the word tortoise anywhere. I also don't see turtle, just in case. We're not taking the tortoise this time, which is very unusual for me. We're going to be taking the ghoul instead, so we will still have a circuit breaker from our skill tree. But yeah, it's very unusual for me to not take the tortoise. What we are going to be taking, I can't remember if I told her to go away or not. We are going to be taking the harpy. So the harpy is going to give us, I mean, the important part is this flat piercing damage. So we'll take that. The next thing after that is either going to be the empty throne, which is what the plan says, and then Blades of Nadan, or I'm going to leave those and take the ghoul first and then go back into that. And we'll kind of see how it goes. I think I'm going to get a couple more points and then remove the fox, because we only really have that for that attack damage converted to health. And, well, you get some of that from the ghoul, and you also get the ghoulish hunger to start leveling up. And you do want to get this leveled as fast as you can. So I think, actually, we could probably do that now. Let's do it now. Let's take that out. How many Aether Crystals do I have, actually? This could be a mistake, but you know what? I'm doing it anyway. So 1 point in green, so as I can take this back. I know I only just got it. I don't have enough Aether Crystals. Okay. Okay, we'll do it. We'll do it next episode after I've gone and visited Krieg a few times. It's fine. I definitely do want to swap this. That would have to go into red. These 4 would go into the basically get the proc, and then the next point would go into the leg. Then you take the point out of red, and you go back to Blades of Nadan. Or, yeah, Empty Throne, then Blades. Okay, let's go kill Cronley. So, Quaid, Mornay sent me, what do you need? We have a deal. Still can't talk to old mate. I've missed a quest somewhere. I think it's this one, but it's fine. We'll give him his jelly when we get back. Okay, into the mines. You can go around the back there and try and avoid the pit, or go into the pit if you want to fight the death trap that lives in there. You definitely can do that. I'm not going to do it though. I prefer to go this way through the mines because there's another dynamite in here. There's potentially another dynamite. Didn't get it this time, but all of these little scrap piles in here um, do potentially drop scrap or dynamite, and you're guaranteed one dynamite, so I generally come this way. It's not just because I'm a coward and I want to avoid the pit. That is certainly a thing, though. And we do have some loot in the walls here as well. Rime Frost of Protection or Mending. Is that going to be better than what I'm currently using? I mean, Aether Resistance from the Rime Frost prefix is pretty good. I may actually swap that out. We'll see. Also, I noticed I picked up my first Soul Shard at some point. So that is this bad boy right here. This will go on your rings. Pretty much never use this on amulets or medals, but 20% resistance on a single item is really, really good. And the other one I'm waiting for is, you know what? We'll talk about that when I get one. Let's just keep going. So still getting shot. We are going to be starting to take a lot more fire damage, so fire resist maxed is pretty good. And we're going to be taking some Aether damage once we get into Crumley's hideout as well. Let's not hit Old Mate while he's got that active. I think my Shadow Strike hits a little bit harder than yours, buddy. New helmet, maybe? 18 Elemental, Chaos. That's a lot of health to lose, so I'm not going to use that. It's a lot of movement speed to lose, so I'm not going to use that. Okay, that's fine. Make sure you have the quest for the Bandit Forges. Okay? If you don't have it at this point, go get it, because you don't get credit for destroying the forges unless you have the quest, as I have found out a couple of times. So you do need the quest. Make sure you go and get it. Also, this little section here, we can go off the map and around the corner here, and you don't need to spin the camera to do this, but it does make it a little easier. We have a hidden stash with the Marauder's gloves, so that would be 2-piece bonus, which actually is not horrible. And then we have Old Mate over here, Madman Wilcox. Shadow Strike deleting half of his health bar is pretty fun. If I still have that chest piece that that gives me another 3 levels, I wonder if they would just get one-shotted. Okay, these guys with their heads on fire. We want to be killing a few of those. We also want to be killing anything that has a green helmet, a green glowing helmet or shoulders. Because they drop the helmets and shoulders at... Sometimes. They are monster infrequent, and they're actually infrequent. There's one now. Ancient of Blood is no. Okay, Celestial Incendiary Cask of Readiness. Now, the flat fire damage is okay, I guess. But the reason we're interested in this helmet is, one, it's pretty good armor. If you didn't get a Guardsman's helmet, you're probably still using Milton's hat, in which case something like this would be good because the armor upgrade is very nice. And it also comes with Chaos Resistance as standard. I think the Elemental is coming from the Celestial prefix. Readiness is the OA and DA, but yeah, pretty good chance that that helmet is an upgrade for you. Okay, that's 2. We're not going into the mine just yet, because there is another over here, and I missed one. Back here I missed one, but that's fine. There's a bunch of them, and worst case, pop into the mine, get the rift, exit the menu, come back, and then poke your head out here. There's 2 pretty close to the door. Okay, so we're going to be having a lot of these sort of assassin type special dudes, I guess we'll call them. The ones with the yellow names are better because they actually drop stuff. So there's the incendiary shoulder plates. So this also comes with chaos resistance. And I could now wear both of these, set my head and my shoulders on fire. Chaos res, pretty dang good. I am obviously not going to do that, but it is definitely an option. We're just going to pretend that I took Veloth's ring off instead of the Slith ring, which is... I wanted to keep the Slith ring. I don't know how that happened. The other component I was talking about earlier is this one, Unholy Inscription. 5% of attack damage converted to health is the entire reason we had the Fox devotion. So once you get one of these, take the Fox out. Bleeding and vitality resistance also quite good. But the main reason you want that is the attack damage converted to health and then the offensive ability. So we're up to 11% lifesteal. That's going to go up a little bit once we get the ghoul.
I can't do that yet.
But then it'll go down again once we take the Fox out as well. So we'll be fine. It's enough lifesteal to keep us kicking. As long as we're hitting stuff. Not having the tortoise is kind of a gamble, because the ghoul requires you to be hitting stuff for it to save you, quote unquote, whereas the tortoise just works. The turtle shell proc, whenever you get low, it gives you a big bubble or shield, whereas the ghoul gives you a whole bunch of life steal. So if you're not stealing life because you're not hitting stuff, then it's not as good. All right, what do we got? Martin's Crest here. Nothing on that I'm too interested in. Good armor on this, +2 to lethal assault. It's kind of whatever. This is pretty good resistances. I think I may end up using that. In fact, I don't think I know. All right, let's go ahead and swap the Wardstone over. There we go. Keep the add-on. Yes, I'm sure. Chuck that on there. How's my life looking? Kind of close-ish. I do have the soul shards, so honestly, that's enough vitality resistance. I don't think I'm going to swap these yet. But soul shards are what you want for most of the game on your rings, as long as you can't get the extra health from using corpse dust. Vitality, we will have a boss that does vitality damage coming up in Act 2, but I think for now it's probably fine. And I'm going to put an ectoplasm on my helmet just for the extra energy. We are going to start burning through that pretty quickly. Okay, back to it. There's another devotion shrine here as well, which we are absolutely going to go and get just as soon as I kill these people throwing Molotovs at me. These Crunley's gang murderers, there it is. There's the helmet I've been waiting for. Affixes on it are kind of whatever, but this is going to give us some bonuses to Ring of Steel. So +3 to Ring of Steel, a whole bunch of bleeding damage on Ring of Steel, and all the other stuff. This I'm not going to use yet because we don't have Ring of Steel. But we are definitely going to be using that with a few more levels. Getting close to 22 actually, which is good. And the procs on the swords are still kind of okay, which is also good. Let me just kill you and your buddies. And since I'm here, I may as well come down this way and get the free stuff just hanging out in this hidden room. Boots of Unseeing Swiftness are always fun. It's a nice little Morrowind reference. So these will make you go ridiculously fast, but then if you get hit, they slow you down. You actually get a negative penalty. I can't remember if that potentially rolls high enough so it doesn't give you the penalty. But those ones will give me -3% run speed if I've just been hit. Okay, this is a quest item. Make sure you pick that one up, because Rover's XP is a little bit thin on the ground. Or Rover's reputation, I guess I should say. 1 scavenge plating. You will have this. So, free devotion point, which is going to go into, for me, into red, because I'm going to go ahead and get the ghoul. Okay. At the end of, once I've killed Cronley, I'm going to step out the back and get the next Riftgate, and then I'm going to go and probably do 2 or 3 runs through the Warden's Lair just to get a whole bunch of crystals. So most of those crystals got used in crafting, the ones we got first time or 2 through there. But I'm definitely going to need something like 10 or 15 for respecking devotion points here. Okay, we're starting to get the Aether Boys. That is the technical term. It's what I'm going with. And you may get Martin here. Now, I've already killed Moneybags Martin. I killed him way back here at the start in this little area. If you didn't get him here, he's going to be over here. He always drops dynamite, so he is a pretty good target if you need dynamite and you don't have Aether Crystals to just make them. He can be a pretty good farming target. And also, if you didn't kill Doreni back in Act 1, the guy in the town that we fought before, if you didn't kill him before, he'll be here, and you won't be able to go through the door here until you talk to and then kill him. So, save a little bit of time by killing him in Act 1, but you do get less reputation with Crumley's gang if you don't farm him. I think you have to kill him maybe 2 or 3 times before you get more reputation doing this, but it's definitely more reputation. Alright, if you don't have enough of your royal jelly, you can get some more here. There is, of course, the free stuff in the walls here. I do enjoy getting all the free stuff in the walls, so I will hit these wherever I'm kind of close to them, because I enjoy it. Not because I'm expecting to get anything good, because if you're expecting something good, I have some very bad news for you. You are very rarely going to get anything even slightly usable. Most of what you comes out of those is going to be vendor trash. But it is still fun. Okay, I'm killing these guys. What are they called? The Ascended? The ones with the metal helmets on them are the only ones that can drop that. There is no boss that drops them. It is only Cronley's gang Ascended. See this guy here? Will not drop a helmet. Watch him drop one now. It's only these guys. I'm 99% sure of it. If there is a boss that can drop the helmets, they are random spawns. It's not something you can target. That's the 1% that I'm not sure on. And I'm not going to stop the run through to go and check Grim Tools and confirm that. Alright, this is the third location of where you may find Moneybags Martin. If you haven't already found him, he will be here. There are only 3 places, and he spawns every single run through, so one of the first 2, or he will be here. Alright, Cronley is going to be doing 8th damage, so I'm going to nuke my hit points to put some more Aether Resist on. And did I have another? I do have another Aether Resistance thing. That one I believe is just a straight upgrade, so I'm going to go ahead and swap that over. If you are worried about Cronley because of your Aether Resistance, you can always just go and get yourself another Milton's Helmet. But I think 35 is probably okay. Not amazing, but it's okay. Alright. Components on everything that matters. I think we're good to go. Cunning Spirit, Physique. Okay, and 3 more points here. What are we getting? I think it has to be Shadow Dance or Night's Chill. Let's go for more damage. I'm going to regret doing that. Alright, so here's Cronley. Now, he has a couple of tricks up his sleeve. The first trick is that he's actually not attackable. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to kill his Aether Crystals. And he's going to stand there and let me do it, because he wants to have a chat. So he has a couple abilities. He will spawn more of these crystals. So as soon as you see the crystals, make sure you take them out, because they will summon enemies. He will put a bubble around himself, during which he takes, I think, 5% damage. So he has 95% damage reduction while that bubble is active. And he also throws the Aether Grenades that first boss of the game, or the first quest boss anyway, Kaizog, throws. So throw the little Aether Grenade on the floor. Actually, are they Aether Grenades? I forget. Anyway, he puts Aether on the floor. The Aether on the floor will stack up. So if you just stand there, you'll notice you're regenning, you're fine, you're taking a little damage, you're taking a lot of damage, you're dead. So make sure you don't stand in that. Okay, there's the bubble. I'm going to run around. He does actually throw grenades. Okay. Crystal. Crystal needs to go down. All of his friends here probably need to die. Well, they definitely need to die. It's more like, do you have to target them? So we are doing very nice single target damage. I'm just going to keep stepping out of the green goop. He may get a second bubble off here. We'll see how we go. Yeah, next should be the bubble. I may actually be able to just kill him. Yeah, he's just going to die. Okay, cool. So when he dies, all the stuff he summoned also dies. Unfortunately, the crystals were not him summoning. The zombies were not summoned by him. They were summoned by the crystals. All right, and he drops quite a nice ring. So +3 to Circle of Slaughter, which is not really something we have access to for a little while. But this comes with piercing resistance as standard, and attack speed as well by the looks of it. Crushing is... Oh, really? Of mending? Okay, we've got some health regen on that one. This one's actually not so great. So this is attack speed, which is very nice. But I think I'd rather have the defensive stuff. This is definitely Veloth's. Yep. Okay. I think I'd rather have the hit points. If you get a really good drop here, by all means wear these. They are pretty good rings. Especially if you get something with 1 or 2 additional resistances. So if you got some elemental resistance in addition to the piercing, or if you got some Aether or Chaos res, definitely wear that. I'm not going to use mine though, because honestly it wasn't very good. Alright, so we get a blue out of here. It's a two-handed gun, which is not great. We get an axe we're not going to use. Boots with acid and some resist, so we're not going to use any of this. Don't forget to go in here. You can read Cronley's notes. One day, I may do a lore note read-through series, but I haven't done that yet. And then these two, it doesn't really matter which one you pick. If you destroy the laboratory and keep some of the crystal for yourself, you will end up with an Aether cluster, which is going to be my choice. So you end up with an Aether cluster. And then this you can put on your hotbar, and when you activate it, you will get a very, very large defensive boost for a couple seconds. Generally speaking, though, you will die and you won't have used this. Because it's just very hard to remember to use it when you don't use it commonly. The number of times I've lost characters and then I look at my hotbar and this is just sitting there unused. Let's just say it's more than once. Alright, so we have made it through Twin Falls. Or through 2 Twin Falls once we get out of here. Do remember as well that you don't want to get distracted by the loot from Cronley. Because if you do, and then you go back to town, because now you got to change some components around. And that hurt. You'll go back to town, you'll change some components around, and then you'll rift somewhere else, and now you're going to run through the entire dungeon again to get back out here. So get the rift first, and let's go eat some conversation pie. So we have some quests to turn in over here, and we also have some quests to turn in over here. So Alicia, they shouldn't bother you anymore. Thank you very much. And we get 3 scrap and some XP. And it didn't cost us anything to pay to get rid of them. Which is ideally what you want. Next we can come over here. We have Quaid here. We've destroyed the forges. We've already killed Moneybags, and you're very welcome. Friendly with the rovers, which gives us that one. Amkala here, we found some texts, so she can have that. And then Ava has some royal jelly. There we go. We've got a blueprint now. We can craft health regeneration potions, and we do get some of those potions for free, or for a reward for the quest. Mark of the Traveler here is some regen and some movement speed. I like these on my boots. Not that you have a huge amount of options. Mark of the Traveler, I'm pretty sure, only goes on boots. Okay, get another level here, and then another level here. And let's go ahead and put that there. Right. Let Mornay know, report to Mornay. Okay, we'll go talk to Mornay. But anyone who's watching and only cares about the content, this is where it ends. I will just be doing a couple runs of the Warden. So if you're not interested in that, then cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And I'll go through the devotion changes when I start the next episode as well, so you won't miss anything. All right, let's go for a run through. Where are we? Warden's Laboratory. So you take the Warden's Lab and you run backwards, basically. We're just here for crystals. You can fight other stuff if you want. Other stuff doesn't drop aether crystals, though, so I'm not really interested. More or less just want to ignore most things here and just kill the crystals. You will have to fight some things, you know. You'll kill some by shadow striking to them. Alright, I am going to put 3 points in there. Shh, don't tell everybody who stopped watching. Haha. Suckers, they'll miss out. Alright, more crystals, more crystals. I'm going to do this probably twice, and then I'm going to change some devotions around. Getting the ghoul leveling up a little earlier will mean it is more powerful faster. We will be taking the Assassin's Blade proc for similar reasons. It's not great early on when you can't crit, at least semi-reliably, but getting it earlier does get it leveling up, so we'll have more resistance shred once we do proc it. Okay, Old Mate the hero there. I probably should kill him, but also I'm just kind of here for the crystals. And that's it. So this little farm here, you can do all the way up to about level 45-ish, I think. Pretty sure this place stops scaling at 35, so plus 10 levels, and it'll stop dropping crystals for you. But there is this kind of awkward level range, somewhere around 40, 45, up to 50 or something like that, where you can't farm here. You probably need more crystals, and you also haven't unlocked the Warden's Laboratory on Elite or Ultimate yet either, and so you kind of have to go farm other places, and other places are just not as good. Alright, you know what, I'm going to do one more run. One more run, then we'll play with the devotion points. And we're going to be pretty close to the path that I had planned out. The only difference being I'm taking the ghoul a little bit earlier than I had planned to. Not the end of the world, though. The ghoul is definitely something I'm going to want to have leveled up. Okay. Totem's not here this time. It's kind of... I was going to say it's kind of good, but actually it doesn't matter. I wasn't going to do it anyway. It was there last time. I just kind of noticed it as I walked past. Okay, yep. Cluster, and one more just down here. Once you've done this run about 1,000,000 times, you will know exactly where they all spawn as well. Okay, devotion points. Let's go and play with some. So we have points to take out of the fox. Let's just make sure. Yep, we can take those out. So devotion points. Goodbye, fox. Done. Done. And then hello, ghoul. Hang on. Let me go back there. Where's the undo button? There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to put this on Veil of Shadow. You want the Ghoulish Hunger proc to be on a buff that is always active. So don't put it on your weapons, because if you change weapons, it'll take itself off, because technically you have a new buff. And so it won't activate when you need it. And don't have it on something like Pneumatic Burst, because it is possible that you will forget to use Pneumatic Burst, and it won't trigger unless Pneumatic Burst is active, so always on something permanent. And then we have a couple points here, so we can take that one out as well. Finish off the ghoul. Then we take that one back. So I've got Harpy, then the ghoul. Now we're going to go for the Empty Throne, which will get us our Aether Resistance before Homestead, which is good. Chaos Resistance before Homestead, which is also good. And we've got a pretty good death save effect. in addition to attack damage converted to health, 5% instead of 6%, but it's kind of whatever. Some more health, some stats. Pretty good kind of emergency thing. I generally speaking don't like the Ghoulish Hunger. I've kind of already explained why. Turtle just always works. This one you have to hit things, but it is what it is. So 3 more points. We'll get this one from Twin Falls. We'll get another one inside of... Actually, is there one in the Akovian Undercity? Yeah, there is. Right next to Kilrian. So we'll get one from Kilrian. We'll get one from the... I want to say the Broken Hills? Yeah, the Broken Hills. One there. So, looking pretty good. All right, that is going to be the end of the episode. So I'd like to thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And goodbye for now.